you can see by the clip at the beginning of the video, JoJo has been recommending me the Great Estate Developer for over 87 days. We're almost at 90 days, and I decided that I would dedicate an entire video discussing this series because it obviously wasn't just JoJo recommending me to read this, but when I see someone just so adamant about something, so passionate about a story, I can't help but have a little bit of interest. I can't help but just wonder, okay, let's actually see what this is about. Let's see if this is going to be a good read or not. And so, I'm dedicating this video to you, JoJo. Without you continuously mentioning it, I would have never really even have known of this series' existence, and if I would have found out, it would have been much, much later in the future. So I owe this to you. So anyways, with that being said, obviously, I'm going to be talking about this series, The Great Estate Developer, that clearly must be incredible, must be something legitimately enjoyable. And I will tell you right now, what I read of it is pretty good. And I'm not just saying that because obviously JoJo's dedicated almost 90 days of their life recommending this series, but legit, it actually is a good read. So, what is this about? Well, the title, obviously, when you look at the title, it isn't anything that kind of rolls off the tongue, or it isn't anything that might gravitate you to start the series. Obviously, when you hear about like real estate or you hear about someone making houses, that might not be the most fascinating story element. That might not be a fascinating topic for you. However, when you actually get into the story and how it's written, that's when it actually becomes incredibly enjoyable. It's kind of like how people look at RTSs or real-time strategy games or whatever, like when it comes to like building bases and stuff. I love that type of stuff. I love building bases. I love playing simulation games and all that. It's a big thing I love to do. I love like Total War Warhammer, for instance. Obviously, it's a little bit different. You don't build bases, but you get the point. I love simulation games. I love seeing a growing empire, so to speak. And when I started this series, that's kind of what I got, actually. So, let's start with Chapter 1. So, Chapter 1 of the series, it gives us kind of a glimpse into the future, that this is our main character, Lloyd, that has the ability to basically terraform the land, or in this case, just cultivate the land, and turn it into a well-bustling city, a cityscape that anyone can live in, and people can actually have modern-day necessities, modern-day lifestyle, which is a pretty big deal, because obviously there is something I've neglected to talk about. This world that you're currently seeing is a fantasy world, a world that is set in medieval times. So, for instance, let's take, for example, ReZero, or Mushoku Tensei, okay? Let's just think about those two series in mind, and think about the world of those, okay? Imagine if someone, instead of, like, becoming the savior or hero of the world, either stopping a great evil or trying to stop something really bad from happening, what if the hero was someone that wanted to cultivate the land and just create giant cities, create modern-day cities for people to be able to live in comfort? That is basically what this series is about. Now, obviously, that premise still might not seem interesting enough, but it is when you factor in that the world is a fantasy setting. So, there obviously is solutions to handling certain things that are different from how, let's say, real life would handle it, because you don't have magic or summon capabilities and stuff like that, but obviously Lloyd, or MC, does have those capabilities. So there is some notable differences, but he wants to bring society to a better place to where he can live in comfort, but also, while doing so, it will bring everyone else around him great comfort as well. It will, in fact, help his status, help him grow as an individual, make a lot more money, help his family in this world gain a lot more money, and also, it just, in general, will improve the lifestyle of everyone. It's honestly something that I love seeing, and anytime I see it, like a reincarnated story, transported story, or, you know, any form of story like that. Because it's like, if you're from the modern day, like Japan, Korea, America, whatever, around the world, you're going to have some things you're going to know. There's some knowledge. Like, maybe you might know how to make, like, a car. Maybe you might know how to make a car engine. Maybe you understand how electricity works, and you're able to kind of make electricity work in medieval times. Basically, I've always been interested in those concepts, bringing future technology into the medieval times, and that's what Lloyd does. He basically brings these modern day like gimmicks, or not really gimmicks, tricks and technology and advancements, and allows people to just be safer. For instance, there's a whole segment, like in chapter 11, like 10, 11, and 12, where they're like in a coal mine. They're mining coal, and he actually straight up figures out a way to mine the coal effectively where there won't be as many cave-ins, deaths, and obviously lack of oxygen. I mean, there's a lot of danger in being a miner, someone that is like trying to get coal out of a mine or something, or gold or whatever. And so when you factor in his modern day techniques that he's aware of, it helps the life expectancy of everyone around him, and it just benefits everyone in the grand scheme of things. So I like what the story is doing. It's literally just about the world improving. He's improving the world, even if there is some selfish desires, selfish goals in the long term. He is improving the world, because now that people are aware of the technology or certain techniques, it's going to be applied all around the world as things continue to move forward. He is bringing a technological advancement that is like 200 years ahead, 200 to 300 years ahead, which is impressive. And I am so excited to see where this story is going to go. Now, at this current time, I have only read the first 12 chapters. However, there is way more than 12 chapters. I mean, as you can see here, there's 182 chapters. Apparently, Season 2 of this ended just a few months ago, like over a month ago, and I'm assuming there's going to be a Season 3. I'm assuming this is not the end of the series with how much it's been recommended to me, but I am excited to sit down and be able to read all this, because I definitely am. Once I'm done with this video and get some food, I'm going to straight up read more of this, because I actually like what I'm seeing. I like a good simulation build, like, you know, playing simulation games and stuff like that, and just seeing the world improve gradually is something I appreciate. I like seeing the world change. It gets you more involved with it. It feels immersive, and that is the feeling it invoked in me when I was reading these chapters. Which, by the way, I want to talk about Lloyd as a character, or in this case, our MC that is using the body of Lloyd. Yeah, you heard me correct. Let's explain that one. So this guy right here, that is our MC. It is established in the first chapter that he was someone that was, like, in Korea. He was living an ordinary life. Obviously, he wasn't that well off, but he was just living an ordinary life, so to speak. And eventually, he actually inhabited the body of someone else in another world in this book. So he was like reading a book, and this book he read, he basically went into that story. Somehow he got transported into that book story, and he incorporated the body of Lloyd. And now he's living Lloyd's life, and his reputation is not good. Like, nobody liked Lloyd. Lloyd in the actual book had a dead end where he basically just died and, like, drinking himself to death pretty much. He had nothing to his name. His parents were gone. All the money was gone. Everything was gone. There was just nothing. It was a complete dead end loss for the said person within the book. However, with the MC getting in his shoes, knowing how the story goes after finishing it, he has turned Lloyd's life entirely around, and for the actual better, because now people are starting to respect him, people are starting to respect his family, money is pouring in to where there isn't much debt, the economy is booming, so to speak. So, legit, he has improved the life of Lloyd quite a bit, and this is something I am legitimately curious about, because it is brought up briefly, but as much as I've read so far, it's not been tackled too much. I am curious if Lloyd, the actual person that our MC is inhabiting right now, will return. Now, hear me out. It's unlikely, but I've always been curious, when you have these type of stories where someone has their body inhabited, will their soul somehow emerge to the surface? Or will they emerge in a different way? Will you have a chance of a different body and allow Lloyd to come back? There's a lot of questions I have, because obviously, regardless if Lloyd is a dead end and he had no future in the book, he still was a person, technically, okay? And even if he was a scumbag. And I'm curious if he is to somehow resurface again, would he change his ways? Would he be better? It would be an interesting story arc if that would happen. I would like to see a series dive into that. I don't know if the Great Estate Developer is one of those series that would do something like that, because that's some very deep subject matter, honestly, like incorporating someone's body and taking it away from them and stuff. I don't know if this series would actually touch that, but I would like to see that. I don't know if it'll happen, but if I had to take an educated guess what will happen eventually, is that the family and the knight and everybody will find out that Lloyd isn't actually Lloyd. That's what I assume will happen. But, with all that being said, though, I like what I've read. This is a very good read so far. I see why JoJo recommended this for over 80 days, almost 90 days. I'm definitely going to be reading, and I definitely plan on doing an update to this in the future. I might do a video discussing Season 1, like for instance, as you can see here, there is 2 seasons to this in terms of chapter length, so I will probably read Season 1, do a video on that, and my thoughts on it, and then I'll read Season 2 and probably do thoughts on Season 2. That's most likely what I will do to prep for the continuation of the story. But for now, I'll leave it at that. If you are interested in this story, if you are wanting to read this said series, link is in the description. It is completely free to read. Don't have to worry about it. Don't have to pay nothing. Completely, legal and everything like that. And it does help me out if you click on the link. By the way, there was some of those that watched yesterday's video and tried to watch the Withered Flower, or read The Withered Flower. The link for some reason was linking to something completely different. It should be fixed now. It completely should be fixed. Sorry if there was a little bit of a mess up there. But yeah, just wanted to clarify on that end. But I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be safe. Stay healthy. Chibi out.